Students, for the class of 7th, we are discussing the science subject. For the class of 7th, we are discussing the science subject. So students, already we started a chapter 10th one. 10th one chapter already we started, that is respiration in organisms. Respiration in organisms. So first of all that we do the revision and we go to next. See. What is meant by the breathing or respiration process? What is meant by the breathing and respiration process? And how many types of respiration processes are there? How many types of respiration processes are there that we discussed in the last class? Then exactly what is meant by respiration process? Otherwise breathing process. See. Inhale of the oxygen, otherwise intake of the oxygen and exhale of the carbon dioxide by using the respiratory organs. By using the respiratory organs that we are saying as what? That we are saying as the respiration process, otherwise breathing process. First of all that, what is meant by inhalation? What is meant by the exhalation? We discussed in last class only. What is that? What is meant by the inhalation and what is meant by the exhalation? What is meant by the exhalation that we discussed in last class. So what is meant by the inhalation? The intake of the gas which is rich in oxygen. The intake of the gas which is rich in oxygen. The process we are calling as the inhalation. And leaving out of the gas which is rich in carbon dioxide. The leaving out of the gas which is rich in carbon dioxide that we are calling as the exhalation. So depending on the exhalation and inhalation, the breathing process is there. So exactly what is meant by breathing then? Inhale of the oxygen and exhale of the carbon dioxide through the respiratory organs that we are calling as the what? Breathing process, otherwise respiration process. Then students, how many types are there? See, there are mainly 3 types. Which are those? Cellular respiration is there. We learned in last class, that is cellular respiration, then aerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. And one more which will be going in case of muscle also we discussed. In case of the cellular respiration, how the process will be going on? Whenever glucose will be breaking down in presence of the oxygen, that is the carbon dioxide, water and energy. So like that, in presence of oxygen there is a process going on in case of the cells that we are calling as the cellular respiration. And aerobic respiration as same as like as the cellular respiration, but little bit difference we are seeing there. The aerobic respiration, it is going to the body. It is all over body. It is going in all over body. So in this case also, breaking down of the glucose takes place in presence of the oxygen, and which will be producing the carbon dioxide, water and energy. And one more at last that we discussed, which is that is the anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration, the name only says that in the absence of oxygen, that process will be going on, and that process took place. It takes place in the presence, otherwise in the absence, not in the presence, in the absence of the oxygen. Here, glucose will be breaking down in the absence of the oxygen, and what it produces, that production is important, that is the alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy. These are the main product in the absence of the oxygen whenever glucose will be breaking down. And example for the anaerobic respiration, the organisms. Which are the organisms which will be involving in the anaerobic respiration? Those are, we can say as the yeast. Yeast is the organism which will be respiring anaerobically. That's why yeast organism is called as the aerobes and aerobes. So yeast, it will be respiring even though without oxygen. Even though without oxygen production of the alcohol. It will be helping for the production of the alcohol. So children, these all things we discussed in the last class. Then today we are discussing about the breathing only. What is meant by breathing now I told. And what is the meaning of the breathing rate? What is the definition for the breathing rate? This is important, students. See, what you have to do? You have to watch your watch. We are having watch. You have to watch your watch. See, for 1 minute, for 1 minute, what you have to do? You have to inhale the oxygen and exhale the carbon dioxide. In 1 minute, how many times you are exhaling the carbon dioxide and how many times you are inhaling the oxygen, that you have to observe. And this activity has to be done carefully. This activity has to be done carefully. So what you have to do? You have to close your mouth and take one hand on your nostril and inhale the oxygen. And you have to watch your time, whatever present, so that you have to watch. See, in 1 minute, what is the breathing rate that you have to observe? Then, exactly, what is the definition for the breathing rate? What is the definition for the breathing rate? Otherwise, what is meant by the breathing rate? See, breathing rate is that in 1 minute, how many times the person breathes? In 1 minute, how many times a person breathes? That we are calling as the breathing rate. So, rate is nothing but it is time. Rate is nothing but time. So, in 1 minute, how many times? The number of the times. In 1 minute, the number of the times a person breathes. This is important, students. In 1 minute, number of times a person breathes. That we are calling as the breathing rate. And what is the breathing rate in case of a person? In case of a person who is in rest, and in case of a person who is doing something work and all. Who is doing something work and all. So already we know that a person who will be running very fast, how he is feeling, and who will be walking very slow, how he is feeling, that we learned in last class. If a person is running very fast, otherwise he is doing some external work and all, otherwise he is doing some heavy works, otherwise exercise, how he will breathe? How he will breathe? He will breathe heavily. Then we are seeing breathing rate as heavily. So, because of what? Because there is a release of energy in more quantity. There is a release of energy in the form of more quantity. Whenever a person will be sitting simply, even though we can breathe whenever we are sitting, whenever we are sleeping, whenever we are doing something else, otherwise we are not doing any work, means there is a release of energy. Yeah, there is a release of energy. So, there is a difference we are seeing whenever a person will be sitting quiet. Otherwise, whenever a person will be doing some heavy works and all. See, exactly what is the breathing rate in case of a person? What is the breathing rate in case of a person who is doing work, otherwise who is not doing work? See, a person who is in at rest, he is having the breathing rate that is of about 15 to 18. This is the number of times. See, in 1 minute, a person who is at rest. For example, I'm here. Now I'm doing any work. Okay, now I'm not doing any work. I'm at rest means what is the breathing rate in case of me? In case of mine, what is the breathing rate then? I'm constant. I'm not doing any work. So what I do? I have to watch my watch. I have to observe my watch in 1 minute. If that breathing rate, whenever I'm in rest, that of about 15 to 18 means this is the breathing rate in case of a person who is in rest. And if a person doing heavy work, otherwise if a person doing heavy exercise, then what is the breathing rate there? What is the breathing rate there? That is 25. See, in case of a person who is doing exercise, otherwise something else heavy work, the breathing rate is 25. This is important. In case of a person who is at rest, he is having the breathing rate 15 to 18. 15 to 18 in a many times I express. And if a person doing heavy work, otherwise is up to 25 times. So this is about the breathing rate. What is meant by breathing rate, and what is the rate for a person who is in rest, and what is the rate for a person who is doing heavy work in the world. And students, mechanism of breathing in human. This is important. They may ask this question for mark. So how mechanism, otherwise how breathing mechanism going in case of the human beings and some in other organisms, otherwise in some animals. How the mechanism of respiration, otherwise breathing process will be going on. See students, first of all that we know that our environment, our atmosphere is made up of the gases. Okay, our environment is made up of the gases. That gas, what it consists? What that gas consists? It consists of some dust particles, some dirt, some pollens, everything it will be consisting. So, that gas consisting the dust particles, pollens, dirt. These are the mixtures which are present in case of the gases. These are the mixtures which are present in case of the gases. So, whenever we are inhaling the oxygen, otherwise whenever we are inhaling the gas which is present in the atmosphere, that consists of dirt and dust particles and pollens and all. And those gas which is having the dust or dirt will be stuck by the hairs which are present in the nostrils. See, our nose is there which is having the two nostrils. Our nose is there which is having the two nostrils, and inside the nose we are having the small hairs. We are having the small hairs and a jelly-like substance, otherwise a smooth substance. So that is a mucus. We are saying as the mucus. Inside our nose, hair is there. Hairs are present. And what is the function of hairs then? They are absorbing the dirt particles. They are absorbing the dirt particles, and mucus is there which will be absorbing the dust and all. Which will be absorbing the dust and all. Like that, the hairs and mucus which are present in our mouth, which are present in our nose, they will be protecting us. They will be protecting us by inhaling some harmful dust particles and all. So students, exactly what is meant by the mechanism, how mechanism process will be going on, we'll see here. See, first of all that this is the human respiratory system. This is the human respiratory system, means this is the nasal cavity. Exactly, this is the nasal cavity, and these two are the nostrils. We are having a nose and two nostrils. A nasal cavity is present inside the nose, and from there to nasal cavity to a windpipe is there. This is the windpipe. This we are saying as the windpipe, and that windpipe connects to the trachea. These ring-like structures. What we are observing here, these ring-like structures, these are called as what class? These are called as the trachea. And again, these trachea are connected to the lungs. The trachea are connected to the lungs. See here, we are seeing the two lungs, a pair of lung. A pair of lung is present, and this pair of lung is protected by what? This pair of lung is protected by the chest cavity. This pair of lung is protected by the chest cavity, and we are seeing the ribs in case of the chest cavity. We are seeing the ribs in case of the chest cavity. Ribs are helping for the inhale and exhale of the carbon dioxide during the breathing process. Even though we are seeing here some finger-like outwards. What we are seeing here? Some finger-like structures. Otherwise, outwards we are seeing here. What are these? These are the alveoli. These are the alveoli, the finger-like outwards, otherwise the finger-like structures which are present in case of the lungs. These are called as the alveoli. And these two are the lungs, and a muscular sheet. A muscular sheet which is a smooth one. Just below the chest cavity, we are seeing a sheet-like structure. What we are seeing? Just below the chest cavity, we are seeing a sheet-like muscular cavity, otherwise sheet, that we are calling as the diaphragm. What we are calling? That we are calling as the diaphragm. And this is the oral cavity. This is the oral cavity. is about how the system is there, how the respiratory system is there, otherwise breathing mechanism system is there. Then how process is going on? How mechanism process will be going on? See here, whenever oxygen, otherwise gas, whenever oxygen or gas will be inhaled to the nostrils, that gas which is rich in oxygen, gas which is rich in oxygen that enters to the nostrils, and from nostrils to again where it enters to the oral cavity, from there to trachea, and from there to directly where it is entering? It is entering to the lungs. See exactly, the atmosphere that consists of the gases. When we are inhaling the gas which is rich in oxygen, that will be entering to the nostrils. Again from there to nasal cavity, then from there to oral cavity, from there to windpipe. Then windpipe, what it consists of some ring-like structures, those are the trachea. Then from windpipe to directly where it will be coming? It will be coming to the lungs. And see, whenever we are inhaling the oxygen like this, these chest cavity, the ribs are moving upwards. And this diaphragm will be moving the downwards. Whenever we are inhaling the oxygen, otherwise whenever we are inhaling the gas, this chest cavity will be moving upwards and this diaphragm will be moving downwards. So what we are seeing there is a more space here between the lungs and the diaphragm. So because of that more space, the gas will be entering. And whenever we are leaving out the oxygen, otherwise whenever we are leaving the gas which is rich in carbon dioxide, then we are saying moving backwards of the rib cage, and this diaphragm will be moving upwards. So there is a less space we are seeing here. Because of this less space between the chest cavity and the digestive system, that we are saying as the abdomen. So because of that less space, that air which is present in this part, that will be pressured out, that will be moved out. So like this, inhalation and exhalation will be going on. And this breathing mechanism depends on a process that we are calling as the diffusion process. This is there for 9th class also. Simply I tell. So what is diffusion then? The moving of the gases, otherwise moving of some substances from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. See how it is. Okay, this lungs is there. This lungs which is filled with the carbon dioxide A. For example, if the lungs is filled with the carbon dioxide A, here what we are saying, carbon dioxide concentration is more here. And if a blood is there which is having the oxygen rich gas, here transmission going on. So what we are saying, transmission going on. This carbon dioxide has to be entered here, oxygen has to be entered here. So in both the cases we have to see the same amount of the gases. Equal amount of gases. Then only the mechanism is said to be as okay, done. So that's why the mechanism of breathing will be depends on what? It will be depending on the diffusion process. So students, we'll stop this class here only. Next, breathing